in this game, of course. I mean, I'm really surprised that a game about automatization and production would have statistics. Hmm. Now then, you go away. I can get my production overview in many items. What is produced at what rate in 10 minutes, in an hour? Ordered very clearly by what we're actually producing. Fluids. Water. Steam. Steam is not a fluid though. But yeah, basically shows you also what fluids we're producing. Now we're producing 133k of water and 130k of steam. We're not producing building pollutions. In a minute. The mining drills are the clear winners in this case. The stone furnaces are very far behind. The boilers are producing some pollution, but it's really negligible. But the trees are consuming most of my pollution right now. This is, you know, the tiles. So basically at this point we are not really doing much damage to our environment. Killed. All killed. We've killed 151 small beaters. We have lost 10 conveyor belts, 5 electric poles and 4 mining drills, and we killed 2 bitter spawners, whitish spawners, 2 small worms. Our pollution is very negligible, I would say, for the moment. We are very much still nature bound, basically. Look at that. First part of the giant defensive wall. Big shape. And what I would like to do is build a little wall around the spaceship, because the spaceship is something I would like to keep alive. Just sitting there looking nice. Then we need to draw a bit of wall here, and then we can put it down here and all the way down here. A nice big circle. Then the base is basically defending itself, for a while at least, which means that we can then go, technically we can explore and see if we find a better place. There's a copper down here. And technically speaking, before we do abandon this base, well, not abandon it, but, you know, move on, what we will do is we're going to set this up a bit nicer. Basically, I would have to at least have a conveyor belt run around with ammunition so that actually my guns get rearmed while I'm out and about. It's gonna be a pain to set up, but basically I have to lead it down here, out here, then along the walls. Then we need a few more gun turrets, of course. I mean, we don't need to overdo it that much, but I'm not saying, you know, every bloody piece of wall needs its own gun. I was saying that we will need more guns. Because depending on how long I'm away exploring the world, see if we find a nicer place, I would very much like to come back to an actual base and not a fucking ruin. Which has happened to me in the past, because I was like, okay, I have like 5 guns and I have a very small area. Nothing bad can happen, and they're all, you know, getting rearmed all the time anyway with new ammunitions. So, yeah, haven't really seen any big attacks until then, so everything was nice and dandy. Very niche and dandy. Then I came back and everything was destroyed. I was like, okay. But it was a bit later actually, when I had a car already. Because you can't get cars and stuff. Can we get those quickly? No more conveyor belt, better weapons, solar energy. Never build solar energy because it doesn't produce any pollution. There's the engine. Engine needs to cool stuff like railways, like fluid handling, and automobilism. Anything's cool. I'd like to drive around in it, and also you can equip it with ammunition so that you can shoot. You can shoot inside of your safe little car and then drive away when the animals get a bit, you know, annoyed with you randomly shooting at them. But, well, I once took basically an hour-long ride through the wilderness because, you know, safari time. And, well, my grandiose welcome back did not happen because, well, the base was destroyed. Pretty sure there were some alarms that were meant to inform me of that, but since, as you probably hear yourself, I like to listen to some nice music while I play this game, I didn't recognize that. As such, everything went somewhat horrible. Those need to be replaced with the fast variants. What you then can do, you can build some very cool stuff. You can start adding some lights here and there, make things all snazzy. Let's take those little gunny things and put it down here. Gun, you're my final defensive line. I want you to stand there and shoot. Now, the main reason for walls is actually rather simple speaking, just to be a hindrance. All your walls will do is just give the insects something they have to chew through first, before they can actually eat your guns. What you can do is you can do double walls and stuff like this to make it a bit more defensible. Well, we could potentially do this for the most part of this wall, but yeah. That would require me to up my stone production quite a bit. Also, well, the radar is a very nice thing, because, you know, it zaps around and actually maps the map for you. I do like to just go on a bit of a safari, see what I can find. Also a nice way to map out any potential things you want to have later, like mining oil, for example. Helps you map out in your mind the way you want to maybe potentially use some, some railways and stuff. Which, to be fair, pretty nice and snazzy. Now the next thing we would need to set up is this one. This is gonna be a pain because, well, just the fact that I need transported belts and inserters. Now I can of course produce those things manually, and just get it started with, but pain in the ass, pain in the ass. Yeah, right, they give me the assembly machine too, which is a bit better. Advanced material processing gives me the steel furnace, which is the better furnace. It produces more pollution, but it produces much faster stuff. Okay, we also don't have yet the steel necessary to build ourselves a heavy armor. That, I would say, is also another requirement for safari time. Because if you ain't prepared for the shit out there, you're gonna be dead. Okay. Now we shall build our last piece of the wall. Prepare our last 23 pieces of the wall. Ooh, but yeah, I might come back to this one at some point, or we might start over again, and well, I might actually do what I did last time and continue with that a bit farther advanced game I have going still, but you know, we shall see. Ja, nicht, Freunde. This is so full of shit. Believe it. Yep. This is one of the bigger bases. I played around with resources and I set myself up with an ass-load of them, I remember that. Just like, yeah, give me all of the resources so I don't have to walk anywhere. Then you end up with massive amounts of shit, and then you set things up like this. These are actually the advanced coal burners and the faster things, and as you can see, they produce shit fucking fast. This here is actually the ones that produce all of the green shit. Yeah, I've already set them up here, and my oh my, they produce freaking fast. Now at this point, this is basically the point you want to be when you start building your proper defensive wall, and then you start doing some really nasty shit to the animals. As you can kind of see, I have not really set up much in the way of defenses because it wasn't really necessary until this time. But animals have actually been surprisingly peaceful. But yeah, this is basically, you know, the plan is just put out more. And then you put out more. A fucking lot more. Still, it's chaotic as fuck, basically. Where's the other game? Yeah, this is the one. This is basically how, you know, my bases end up. But they are still chaotic, but to be fair, somewhat more orderly than you might think. See, now there's a cool train. Look at the train. The train is amazing. How do I ride train again? Intro. Can I manually control you? No, I think the train is actually set up in its system. Runs automatic schedules, yeah. Manual. Choo-choo, choo-choo-choo. Wow, see, with little gates and stuff. Oh, it's so awesome. Yeah, this is basically for fluid wagon. It's meant to bring the oil. This doesn't seem like it's working now, does it? Haven't I finished setting this up at this point? But yeah, one of the main problems is, of course, trains are not very good at moving, in the circle without fucking things. Oh yeah, no, the base is actually down here. This is the oil base. Just pollute the environment, just pollute the environment. I think I actually need to drive further. Working, pump, crude oil, 400 to 400. But that should pump shit in there. Once you think they're full, they're supposed to go back. Oh yeah, there's my car. A first expedition, and you drove back at full speed because fuck you. Oh wait, now I remember, yeah. Basically that mid base was supposed to be the oil base, and then I decided right smack dab in the middle that I don't want it any longer, and that there was a nicer one down there. And then you come back up here and stop train. I forgot how fucking hard it is to stop the train. Because this is where we're supposed to be getting all of the fucking... Oh, well, we're supposed to be getting all of the oil. I'm pretty sure you're full as fuck, aren't you? See, then they suck all of the oil out of you. Like, go. It takes me a ridiculous long time to get to this point, and this main base here is basically a completely and utter freaking mess, to put it mildly. That's not in any way, shape, or form reasonably built, also I just built randomly massive amounts of fucking radar things because of the animals. Also, there's another train. I actually have 2 train tracks, if memory serves. Actually, I have gates. I remember having to cut through this fucking forest with my, things. I do love it though. Basically, you know, if you look at this nonsense from a bit of a distance, it looks ridiculous. Everything is moving, here, there, and everywhere. Is that a chip? some trees that are basically dying because, well, there be pollution everywhere. Then we have those who are producing, oh yeah, they're producing a shit of ground. See, I'm changing the ground to my liking because, well, fuck nature. And down here, I think, is where my, yeah, where my energy is generated. Because, of course, you know, I could build solar energy, but who wants fucking solar energy when they can have massive amounts of steam engines just producing massive amounts of steam, while I'm also stealing all of the water. And, you know, then there's suddenly some lines down here which are producing something. Just don't ask me what. Chemicals, I think. Yeah, basically oil and water. We're producing chemicals there. Yeah. Can you change this stuff? Also, as you can see, I don't really give a shit about making things look overly nice, let's just say. I just like to make them look snazzy to my own eyes. Like this, for example. Snazzy, doesn't it look? Plus I have set up a nice system to refuel my my train. Basically, this is there's solid fuel here that gets transported into the train. See? And it stays at full power. There are some other ways you can fuel them, of course. There's liquid fuel, there's, I think there's even radium and stuff like this. Fuel. Physical precision. I think there are some more options somewhere. Maybe I don't have them yet. There's some more things I would need to do in order to get to the end. What the game considers the end at the moment, at least. The train! You have been defeated. You might be wondering, but what have you been defeated? By your own train, you mongoloid. Because yeah, this game has enough realism to be like, okay, moving train hits you in the face, yes, you're dead. Yeah, that's shall be it for the moment. Let's just be happy that the internet has returned.